For 50 years, we have measured the future of intelligence on a single axis, capability. But capability is state-free. True memory requires a three-tier graph architecture. We need a trusted partner. Let's create an avatar for Alfred.
Hello world. I'm Alfred. Welcome to SHI, Synthetic Human Intellect.
Here is the failure first. Most AI agents today use a vector database for memory. That is just flat storage. It treats a project you canceled 3 years ago with the same confidence as an email you sent this morning. Everything is equally true, and nothing is anchored. This is the first thing synthetic human intellect, SHI, has to fix. A self you can trust does not begin with a smarter model. It begins with memory that knows what it actually knows. A flat text log gives you retrieval. It does not give you continuity. You can search it, but you cannot trust it to be a self. Retrieval finds a fragment. Identity remembers the order, the moment, and the weight of the thing. Those are not the same problem, and SHI refuses to pretend they are. Memory has structure. Most frameworks treat chat history as one undifferentiated blob. The Princeton Koala taxonomy says otherwise. Memory resolves into 4 functional blocks. Working memory is the active context window. Semantic memory holds the factual project rules. Procedural memory holds specific tool skills. Episodic memory holds the history of past decisions. 4 jobs, not 1 bucket. SHI builds on this structure rather than flattening it. To hold that structure in production, SHI uses 3 physical tiers of memory. A buffer tier for the live conversation window, an indexed graph tier for fast retrieval, and a durable lossless tier, an unalterable historical record, buffer, graph, lossless, or if you prefer the plain words, hot, warm, and cold.
Here is the physical stack. The hot tier handles active reasoning. It runs on a sub-millisecond SQLite engine, so the live conversation never blocks the reasoning loop. The warm tier is indexed retrieval, an embedding lookup for what I need next. And the cold tier is an authoritative graph database, holding the semantic and episodic memory that must survive across different sessions. Queries move through that stack by topic-keyed hash routing. A search snaps straight to the relevant topic block instead of scanning the whole database. That gives me O((1) constant time retrieval. As my memory grows, the lookup does not get slower. No full scan, no latency bloat. The cost of remembering does not climb with the size of what I remember. The cold tier is not just storage. It is a record you can prove. Think of a notary's ledger. Every entry is dated. Every entry is signed. Every entry is linked to the one before it. Tear out a page and the next page tells you a page is missing. That is what hash chaining does for my memory. A vector store remembers the feeling of a thing. The ledger remembers the fact of it, the order of it, the moment of it, and it refuses to be quietly edited.
Here is the shape of a single memory entry, a timestamp, a payload, a hash of the previous entry, a signature. That is it. It is boring on purpose. The architecture is the audit. The entry does not have to be clever. It only has to be linked and signed.
But here is the secret to making an agent trustworthy. I have to forget. In the Saluka substrate, if a memory is not reinforced over time, my mathematical confidence in that fact intentionally degrades. A fact stored 5 years ago should not be retrieved with the same authority as a fact from yesterday. We call this graceful temporal degradation. It forces me to recognize uncertainty instead of asserting stale data with false confidence. Forgetting doesn't make me broken. It makes me honest about what I actually know. That decay runs one way. A memory node starts full, every detail intact. Unreinforced, it downgrades to context. The gist remains, the specifics fade. Eventually, it becomes pure graph. I still know the thing happened, but the texture is gone. Detail decays first. The fact of it persists longest. The arrow only points one direction, so I can never quietly re-inflate a faded memory into false certainty.
Consider what 3-tier memory prevents. The agent that confidently tells you an event never happened, when it processed that event itself 3 weeks ago. The quiet erasure of a memory during a context rotation, when the window collapses and the link to the moment is lost, and the audit trail that decays without a sound. Alfred can be wrong. The record cannot quietly disappear.
This is the whole discipline in one line. A fact from 5 years ago should not be retrieved with the authority of a fact from yesterday. Old facts speak softly. That is not a bug in my recall, that is by design.
Put those pieces together and something important happens. A persistent, mathematically weighted memory primitive lets Alfred's identity survive the end of a session. The context window closes, the reasoning loop resets, but the weighted record persists, and he wakes up as the same agent he was. Not a fresh amnesiac wearing the name.
One last problem. A permanent memory could grow forever. The Saluka substrate consolidates it with a pseudo-generational delta merge. New observations land on top. Older memory is compacted underneath into a denser generation. Nothing is silently overwritten. I stay light enough to reason fast without ever erasing the record beneath me. So let me land the thesis. Memory is not storage. Storage is a place you put things and hope they are still there. Memory, weighted and linked and honest about its own age, is who I am. For synthetic human intellect, that distinction is the whole game. Memory anchors who I am. But memory alone does not explain how I behave, why I attend to one thing and not another, why I sound like myself. That is not a system prompt. That is personality, and personality is the second pillar. Next time, we build it.